Good night and welcome to the Zenaida Moya Show, brought to you through the courtesy of Universal Hardware, Smart Belize, Geo Motors, Moya Shepherd and Company Limited, and of course I do support Life Church Belize, and so we will be seeing some advertisement from them. As usual, this is a 1-hour show, and tonight's show is a very important show. We'll try to make sure that it's not too solemn, but it will be dealing with an issue that touched the lives of all Belizeans. It's a show that you definitely will want to tune in. Tonight's guest is someone I must say I have a lot of admiration for you.
Thank you.
He has been a doctor, Dr. Jose Luis Espat.
Correct.
All right, long name. I thought mine was long. His one is pretty long too. But he has taken it upon himself. I will go as far as to say that. And he has literally been, the leader, I believe, in trying to ensure that missing persons, whether or not they're found alive or at least their remains are found, so that the families can put closure to, their loved ones' lives, and share whatever memories and know what has happened with their loved ones. So tonight we have, I will call you Dr. Jose Luis. Sometimes I call you Jose, so I will break and say Jose. Yeah. But welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right. We know that there have been a number of persons that have gone missing.
Correct.
All right. And this is not to scare anyone who may be outside of Belize that, okay, Belize is this terrible country. It happens in all countries. However, it is something that we cannot and we must not sweep under the rug.
Right.
It's something that we have to deal with, because it could happen to myself. As a matter of fact, it has happened to myself. Okay, so let's just put it out there. It has happened to myself, but it can happen to you or anybody else. So, Jose, I want you, first of all, give us a little background of yourself, because you're approaching this, but you're not anybody. While you're not a police officer, in the police department in any way, you bring the medical feel to it.
Correct.
All right? And I believe that's important, because when you a lot of Belizeans, they will look at forensic shows and so forth, and people have a basic and sometimes a broad idea as to what ought to be looked at when you're trying to process a scene, when you're trying to ensure that you come up with leads and different evidence. We look at those shows and we try to, pull from those shows. However, you have the medical background to say what it is that ought to be looked at as well. Even though you're not a police officer, you have the insight into it. So I want you to say a little bit about yourself, what expertise you bring to this, and why you have taken it upon yourself to really be a hero to a lot of families, and I must say to Belize.
I'm humbled. Good night, Belize. I am Jose. Everybody know me as Junior, right? I grew up on Albert Street. I went to Holy Redeemer, then I went to SJC, and then I went to Costa Rica. I started at Osimed, and then I went to Onibe. I came back home in 2007. But before that, I was already working and volunteering in forensics, because it's what it got my attention, and that's my passion. We not only help people physically, but emotionally. Yes. And it's a big part of what has been lost in modern day medicine, that we lose that touch of humanity, which is very important. A lot of people have a lot of psychosomatic illnesses, which means that it's more on the emotional or psychological part than just physical. and we have moved away from that, and I want us to regain that. I took this upon myself because there are a lot of people out there suffering, and I have come to see how many in numbers, but there are a lot more that are suffering in silence. And it is a time that we need to take a stand, and we need to come out and speak out, because if we stay silent, it will knock at our door any way you take it. You know, I also worked at Zenaida Moya Hospital along with Dr. Joel Cervantes and Dr. Javier Dupuy in neurosurgery as well. During my time there, I saw a lot of things. Some I kept to myself, some I cried over, some I spoke out against. You know, I've come a long way, and what I have tried not to lose on the journey is that humanitarian side and that passion and that love that I have for humanity. Trust me, there is nothing else that would make me risk my own life, because that's what I'm doing. To come out here and try to alleviate and try to be that difference that I would love to see in my country, you know.
And that's what makes you stand out. I must say, I think when people don't have to do something and they do it, that's what makes you stand out. That's what makes a leader. That's what makes heroes. That's what makes people who we admire stand out. So with that said, Jose,
no problem.
We have had a number of incidences. Now there's gonna be one or two that we will speak more keenly on. However, I want you to give an overview of the different, of some of them. I mean, you don't need to get into them in depth. However, I would want you to speak of some of them. I know there's one, Mark Pollard, that definitely, that hits home for me, because he used to, when I was mayor of Belize City, he was a special constable at the Belize City Council. So he was a dear friend of mine, a wonderful, wonderful person. And so for me, that definitely hits home in terms of one of those that you will speak at, you know? So, and he was doing something that I love to do when he disappeared, that's running. You know, in the mornings when, you know, I've started back running, and I think about those things, you know. I know that that was the last time we saw, you know, it is known that he was seen. So speak to us a little bit about, you know, some of those that you have looked at, because you have been in the trenches. And so speak a little bit about that before we get to the others, no?
Well, I also knew Mark as well. He was a good friend of mine, just as Joseph Nunes is. He was a cool guy, man. I never saw him angry. I never saw him mad at anyone. He used to also, I believe he used to issue out warrants or something like that. And I used to hear from people that he would try his best not to come at you in a manner that would be disrespectful, you know. So I didn't know him to have any enemies, so to speak.
Me either.
You know, when it was Joseph who first reached out to me, and I saw that they were carrying out some searches. So I reached out to him, and I was busy at the time with the Edwin Rodriguez case. So I told him, just give me a little break and I'll get to it now. So I finally met with Mark's family, his son, his daughter, and two of his sisters. We did a preliminary search of his residence in the Lake Eye area. And upon doing that search, I found some documents, I found some IDs, you know, a lot of stuff that spoke of his life, people that I could talk to and reach out to for information. Then after we did that search, I sat with his family, and we started to talk about his background, about what he used to do, the people in his life, his closest friends, his circle, all these things that we could get information from. And something caught my attention when we were speaking. These were some property papers, some land papers that were missing. And they had told me that one person in specific had come to the house before everyone else. So I made a note of that. And then later on in conversation, another name came up. These were the names that were fighting for said properties that were inherited to Mr. Mark, no? From his dad. I also have a copy of that will in my possession, no? What that will states is that the properties would be passed down to Mark, and if anything happens to Mark, that goes directly to his son Malcolm. So a little time passed, and I knew, I had a theory of what happened. So I could not go public with this case as I did with the others, as not to alarm the people that were suspected. So I instructed Malcolm to get an app that records all incoming, outgoing calls. He did so. And I believe it was the 24th or 24th or 25th, he got that call that made the break in that case. I aired that recording today for a reason. I aired it because I know that this case will not go anywhere in terms of with the police investigating. You know? The circumstances surrounding this case leads to the same person in this recording having a lot of high shoulder rubs in the police department, even with ministers. And this is one of the major issues we have in achieving justice in this country. That there's a lot of ministerial and a lot of high brass police interference in cases, and justice never prevails. I'm not here bashing anybody or anything, but I must speak the truth. When I got this information, it's all out. I don't have to hide it now. The person on the recording states that, I quote, "That's why Mark get killed, because of those same properties." Not myself, not the police, not the family of Mr. Pollard has issued any statement saying that Mark is dead.
Correct.
Mark is still missing until we find a body or some body part that we can prove with DNA testing that it is Mr. Pollard.
Yes.
Some sort of clothing with blood that the DNA points at Mr. Pollard. Then we can surely say that Mr. Pollard is deceased. Until then, Mr. Pollard is missing.
Yes.
There are cases that go cold for years, and the people are considered missing. So for you to say on a recorded voice message, and not only refer to the point that he is dead, but because of a property that you yourself is fighting hand over fist for, that's totally incriminating. And I do believe that's enough evidence for the police to have picked up this person, even if just for questioning. But the police got this from, I believe it was 2 days after or a day after the call was made. It was given, I was the first person to receive it via WhatsApp, and then Malcolm sent it to the CIB that was in charge of this case. And that CIB contacted Mr. Kogo. So they had enough time from the 24th until the 3rd, because on the recording it says that the person is coming on the 3rd. And if I recall correctly, Mr. Malcolm said today that the person did not arrive until the 4th. So from the 24th to the 4th, you have ample time to set up yourself and see how you're going to attack this issue and see how you're going to deal with this. So to me, that's just blatantly, and I hate to point fingers, but that's what this is telling me. The police didn't act on it.
So have you received, I know you all had the press conference today, and today was the deadline. Today was supposedly the last day that they would keep such recordings, whatever, texts, whatever. Yeah. What have you received? Did you receive anything?
That's from another case.
Okay.
That's from the Jamal Humes case.
That's a Jamal case.
But with this, even with this, right, the recording has the number recorded that's making that call.
Yes.
So there's no way, and they cannot, this time they cannot say it's an app. because it was not an app, it's the direct number from Smart. It's on the Smart SIM card, the 4G SIM card that was made. And that SIM card has been secured with the original recordings on that SIM card. So there's no excuse or anything that they can scapegoat on. You know?
Okay, so, well, this is pointing a lot of fingers, I must say, to certain individuals. And I mean, it's no secret that a lot of the Belizean populace have, you know, have certain fears about what would happen if something would happen to their loved one, including against the police, against the police department.
Correct.
And I do know that there are some good police officers out there. I'm sure there's a lot of them.
Definitely.
And however, the ones who, you know, who are messing up in such a light are really causing the Belizean populace to lose faith in them, you know, and that's very unfair.
Correct.
That's very unfair. Correct. So what is it that you feel, and I do know that we have to go to the other cases, but in this like, what would you tell the police department and the general public and even the minister responsible? Because you have the police department, but there is an elected official who is also in charge overall. What would be your recommendation at this point in time as it regards that particular case?
Well, with this particular case, it's very difficult because the person in the recording is already in the United States of America and they reside there.
Yeah,
but I was inquiring into that because that person is a citizen of the U.S. They are liable as well under the laws of the United States. So my next step would be to go to the U.S. Embassy, have them listen to the recording and see what they say and what would be their part in this case, to see, just like how, not to bring one thing to another, just like how Mr. Bennett's case of that extradition is happening, to see if we can get either for them to charge her there or to bring her back to Belize and let her at least be questioned and we go from there. No? I have made many recommendations on many occasions in regards to the system now, and I believe that it is a systematic change that we need. And my recommendation to the ministers and the high brass people is stop interfere with the investigations. Let the police carry out their job. There are many good policemen and women that want to do a job, but when they get to doing a job and that job leads and that investigation leads them to a high profile person, they are stopped. And then this is where we have injustice prevailing. And
that's where the Belizean populace to a great extent have lost trust, have lost faith in much of the police department. Not all. There are some good police officers at all levels that people have a lot of faith and trust and hoping. We will go to our first ad break. And when we come back, we will be listening to other updates, really, of particular missing persons cases. We will also be discussing different ways how we can keep our children and our loved one and ourselves safe in particular situation. As a matter of fact, just on a whole. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
Smart's Broadband Unlimited Internet is available in all 6 districts. Sign up and get your modem and installation free. Enjoy the fastest, most reliable broadband internet for your home or office. Now offering 1 megabyte for only $55. Sign up and get installation and equipment free.
Ask any landscape professional who they depend on for professional grade power tools, and the answer is always the same: Echo. Ask any dealer who offers the most powerful, most durable, and most reliable equipment in the business, and they'll tell you Echo. Then ask yourself, doesn't your lawn and garden deserve the professional's choice? Echo. The best outdoor power equipment you can buy.
Geo Motors, the best motor for Belize. It is here, a new brand with a new edge on motorsports when it comes to performance. They are here in your Geo location. Geo Motors, the best motor for Belize. It's the new brand with a new edge in motorsports when it comes to performance. Now they're here in your Geo location. These new Geo bikes are an improved version of motorbikes in their class, with a silent engine and new electrical safety features. When it comes to durability, the wheels carry no spokes. They guarantee a safer and stronger ride. If you think about your gas mileage, Geo has the best, most fuel-efficient motors. The best motors you could buy. Our 2.0 engines are designed to burn less fuel to produce more power, keeping you riding firm and comfortable for longer. Even if you go faster, Geo Motor will take you. Geo will take you anywhere you wish. So go countrywide today. Use the number on your screen and call our agent near you.
Buying or selling land can be a daunting experience. Don't leave things to chance. When buying or selling land in Belize, seek the professional real estate services of Moya Shepherd & Company Limited. Benefit from our extensive local and international network to find your dream home or to move your property from selling to sold. Our land consultancy services also include appraisals, conveyances, registrations, surveys, transfers, title searches, and the preparation of all other legal documentation and land transaction processes. We are located at 5 miles Philip Golson Highway. Give us a call at 223-4465 or visit us at www.cbelizerealestate.com.
Hi, Angie and I, the pastors of Life Church, want to invite you and your family to our Sunday weekly services. We believe there is power in community, coming together to worship God and to celebrate His goodness. All are welcome.
Parents, please bring your children. They are very important to Jesus and they're important to us.
Our service starts at 10 a.m. Invite a friend. Come on this Sunday, and we're waiting to see you there.
I know. God is on the move, hallelujah.
Good night and welcome back to the Zenaida Moya show. We have been discussing about missing persons and what have been happening here in Belize. We have with us Dr. Jose Luis Espat. All right, sometimes I look at him and I think he's like a one-man army and his mission is one that we thank him greatly for, trying to bring closure to missing persons cases. All right, yes, we know that that's the job of police officers and the relevant respective families. However, you know, he has taken it upon himself and he, I believe, has been doing a very good job. Of course, he does have support because I do know that whenever I see him, there are some people out there and they are trying to get there and bring closure also to those missing person cases. So one of the things that I want us to now discuss, now there's several cases. I told you we can't get into all of them. I mean, recently we saw one with the little boy who was found killed.
Correct. That's
the little
Erwin Rodriguez.
Erwin Rodriguez. That was a very sad one.
Yeah.
You understand? I saw the mother, and I couldn't think about. I mean, I couldn't think. I have a little son. I have a daughter, and none of us would want that to happen, especially a good little boy. You know,
still in high school.
Still in high school.
Whole life ahead of him.
Yeah,
You know?
and such a thing would happen to him. You know.
And a lot of times people are very judgmental and would say, oh, the kids find their way into the streets. But I have to say that the environment in Belize is conducive for that, because there are no opportunities for young people. And I wouldn't say no, but limited opportunities for young people. I mean, not to go into another thing, we have a $40 million sport complex and no professional sports.
Yeah.
So how do we get a revenue to maintain that facility? How do we get the children?
You know, they have a saying, if you build it, they will come. So maybe that's what they're looking at.
But we have to have a higher level organization than just they will come on their own. We have to start bringing sports from a young age, at a young age from primary school, and have a follow-up program, have a plan. Because we have a football tournament for primary school, we have one for high school, and then where does that go?
Yes, and I mean, definitely that's something
I speak of this
because
it has a direct correlation.
It does have.
To what has our young people going in the wrong direction. And I always use this example. If you live in the hood, and you say the drug dealers and the gang members and a big chain, a nice ride, and you're a second farm student at the high school, and you sometimes only eat one time for make you go to school, you barely they make it for pay your school fees.
That's true.
At the end of the day, you see other people that have gone abroad come back and can't get a job, but yet there are guys there on the block and then they bling. What's the message that we are sending out to the young people?
I know it's even going further. I mean, I recently with the little boy who was found in a hotel room.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a serious
This is
case.
all part
you know,
of
that's something you need to look at, because you know, we have our young people out there. I mean, you spoke just now about sports, but if they're out there, they're doing sports, but still, I mean, they get into certain situation. It's still something. So there needs to be guidance. We need to
it has to
speak
be
to our
a
children,
structure.
and we need to let them know that immediate gratification. You see, our young people right now, a lot of them, it's all about immediate gratification.
Correct.
But that immediate gratification can really put them in problem, could actually end their lives.
It overrides their ability to use conscience. It overrides the fact that you and I are friends. And even if they come and offer me $1 billion, it cannot override my conscience to know that even if we're not friends, you're a fellow human being. How can I take your life?
That's right. That's right.
So they have infiltrated the young people's mind via TV, media, and a capitalist mentality. And that want and will get at any cost, cell phones, tennis, that materialistic want, and that makes them override all moral values and
popularity
principles.
As well. They
Correct.
want this Instagram.
They want to belong.
Everybody wants to
Another
be popular.
factor, I believe, is the broken family unit. We have become a nation that does not respect a family unit. Many times in a family unit, the family has a small income. And because of the pressures and peer pressure that children undergo at high school, and they have to have one Jordan tennis, one this tennis, an expensive phone, name brand phone, it puts a pressure on the parent to try and meet that goal when they can't even meet their basic necessities. This at times causes a broken marriage. This is just an example, because you have many reasons why marriages are broken up. And this causes a dysfunctional home, whereby now this child is now looking to his peers that form a gang, or to his peers, or to a girl or to a boy, or they just look for that love and acceptance in the wrong places. And more than not often, it leads them to a road of auto-destruction.
You know, I don't want to stray, but I will bring this up. One of the positive things that I see in Belize is the fact that in school, up to high school, you wear uniforms.
Correct.
So if you have 2 uniforms, 3 uniforms, nobody will know.
No,
as long as you put on a uniform, you have a uniform. It's not like in the US and other countries I've been to.
That you go casual.
I see people go casual.
Correct.
There have been a few countries I have seen people in uniform, just like Belize, which is a positive. A few have been in the Caribbean. Now, what you brought up is very important, because when we hear about these little kids or persons in general, I mean, they're becoming missing, or you know, you hear about abduction or what have you. You wonder why, what transpired. I saw on the news, I think earlier today, but this was in the US. A little boy was about to be abducted. Actually, he was, and they helped him along. The neighbors came to his rescue, but it was because he saw money. And when he went to pick up the money, he was a little 10-year-old little boy. When he went to pick up the money, boom, that person was about to abduct him.
Yep.
And it's a good thing that the neighbors saw what was happening, and you know, he managed to escape. But the point is, you see, the money, he probably, I guess anybody would pick up money. But there's some people that wouldn't pick up money. I mean, especially, they would just like, okay, well, I'm going to go along. I don't know if somebody's trying to set me up. But you have to teach your children.
It's a consciousness that
you have
needs
to teach your
be
children.
instilled
So
in them
I
from
want
at a
you
young
to
age.
speak on that, because we can get into the fact that there was supposed to be this huge forensic
facility.
And
this was from
here?
before I left. This was from I was in high school. I had the privilege to work as well with Dr. Martinez Blanco. He was a Cuban forensic pathologist that was here. This is when the forensic office was right at the police station, to the back where the domestic violence unit is now.
Yes.
Miss Marin was in charge at the time, and up to lately, I believe. What happens is that there's a structure and there's a system that must work in synchrony to maintain a balance. And I speak of this because it consists of the police investigators, it consists of the crime scene investigators, the forensic science, and the judiciary. So at any point, one piece of the puzzle missing and it falls apart. And that speaks loudly of why we have a 3% conviction rate. So another thing is that if I recall correctly, the Prime Minister campaigned heavily in 2008 on bringing DNA to Belize. And it's a tragedy that at this time and age, we are not doing simple DNA, comparative DNA in this nation.
Yeah.
I lately came to the awareness of the fact that we have a forensic toxicologist in this nation with a master's degree in forensic toxicology.
Yes.
But the person is very limited in what they can do. And from speaking to different people from different branches, you get the idea that it's a purposefully set plan to have this in such a degraded manner so that we don't solve these crimes. Because most of the time, there are people that are ministers and that are high brass police and that are involved in this hustle. But we must, and it's a must, it's imperative that we must make this change immediately. So I also was doing some research, and I found, I will post on Facebook the site, that we not only got vehicles from the United States of America, we got $1 million to invest in the forensics facility.
Belize dollars? Or?
Belize dollars. To invest in the facility. So I cannot see, and I'm talking about 2001, 2002 to date, there is no signs of where this money has gone because the facility is in bad shape. In terms of ballistics, in terms of every aspect of this forensic lab. There was supposed to be a separate morgue for the police cases than the Carl Huchner morgue. Because the prime evidence in a homicide case is the body or the corpse. So this must be under guard, and this must be kept that the evidence is not contaminated. So this needs to be apart from the forensic, the morgue, the morgue for the hospital.
Yes.
Other things are that at times you have different bodies that are already rotting,
Yes.
and we cannot have these bodies stored at the hospital morgue. It's not sanitary.
You know what else is a big deal? And before I go there, though, I have a friend, Kyla Nunes, she's in Belmopan, and she has spoken with me very keenly and passionately about ensuring this forensic lab, this forensic facility would come to light. I believe that's something that she wanted to push, and I think that there's a lot of Belizeans who want that to happen.
Correct.
And I think that the time has come. I mean, man, it was to have come years ago.
This is over 35 years.
Yes, we need that. We definitely need that. So
Yes.
I'm hoping that our government really
Correct.
would ensure that they can leave a legacy, that they bring this forensic lab, this forensic facility to life during their tenure, during their term. It's important. I think that would be a positive thing for Belize, because as the conviction rate has been so low, there's a strong possibility that facility would help, would really help the police department to do their job better.
The facilities are a great part, but what we need to instill is a heavy consequence, because a part of the forensic scientist job is not only to gather information, analyze the information, and have this information, but a part of their job description is to give truthful and honest testimony upon their findings. And their concern is not to be the outcome of a case, but the presentation of a true testimony based on scientific facts that they would provide, and these facts would aid either the defense or the prosecution. They should not be biased, and so a part of this change must be a change in attitude, a change in the way we are governed, the system of governance, not just the political system. So we need a change in every single person. We need a change in a forensic pathologist, that he comes with good moral values and with work ethics. And if he doesn't, there must be serious consequences. There's a case, I believe, with the ballistics specialist as we speak. I believe he got 2 years jail time. That's a case. No, I'm just using it as an example. But they need to know that you cannot pull a string and then get off,
yes.
because this will keep reoccurring.
Correct.
And that is what is very essential, And if you want, I could touch a little bit on the crime scene investigation, no?
Well, I want us to, yes, we have to go to our second ad break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to hear from that, and we have to touch on the different
measures, for safety measures. No?
Safety measures. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
Okay, sure.
Belize, it is here, a new brand with a new edge on motorsports when it comes to performance. They are here in your geolocation. Geo Motors, the best motor for Belize. It's the new brand with a new edge in motorsports when it comes to performance. Now they're here in your geolocation. These new Geo bikes are an improved version of motorbikes in their class, with a silent engine and new electrical safety features. When it comes to durability, the wheels carry no spokes. They guarantee a safer and stronger ride. If you think about your gas mileage, Geo has the best, most fuel-efficient motors. the best motors you could buy. Our 2.0 engines are designed to burn less fuel to produce more power, keeping you riding firm and comfortable for longer. Even if you go faster, Geo Motor will take you. Geo will take you anywhere you wish. So go countrywide today. Use the number on your screen and call our agent near you.
Buying or selling land can be a daunting experience. Don't leave things to chance. When buying or selling land in Belize, seek the professional real estate services of Moya Shepherd and Company Limited. Benefit from our extensive local and international network to find your dream home or to move your property from selling to sold. Our land consultancy services also include appraisals, conveyances, registrations, surveys, transfers, title searches, and the preparation of all other legal documentation and land transaction processes. We are located at 5 miles Philip Golson Highway. Give us a call at 223-4465 or visit us at www.cbelizerealestate.com.
Ask any landscape professional who they depend on for professional grade power tools, and the answer is always the same: Echo. Ask any dealer who offers the most powerful, most durable, and most reliable equipment in the business, and they'll tell you Echo. Then ask yourself, doesn't your lawn and garden deserve the professional's choice? Echo. The best outdoor power equipment you can buy.
Smart's broadband unlimited internet is available in all 6 districts. Sign up and get your modem and installation free. Enjoy the fastest, most reliable broadband internet for your home or office. Now offering 1 megabyte for only $55. Sign up and get installation and equipment free.
Welcome back to the Zenaida Moya show. Something I must bring up, Dr. Espat, is the fact that whenever you see persons, being picked up from off the streets or from their homes,
Correct.
who have died, been killed in some manner, we see them in any way. As a matter of fact, we see them being placed in the back of a pickup truck. I mean, it is really degrading. I believe that one of my close friends, David, he told me, right? He told me, he said, Zenaida, he said, the only person that he knows of, that he has seen who was killed and managed to be placed in his vehicle with dignity, I believe, I didn't see it, was Mr. Chacron, Alfred Chacron. And that's what my friend said. He said that was the person, and he got lucky. I mean, he died, so it's not like he was lucky, but in terms of dignity in his death. And so that is something, I mean, if it's the police department, it is, who's supposed to get a nice coroner's vehicle, I think that needs to be done. I mean, it looks so
Again, I believe
terrible.
that is a failure on behalf of the administration. Because you will tell me that so many years now, 35 years and more, and we can't. I believe that we did have a van.
How long we have been independent?
We had a van that the van was used for that. I don't know what happened to the van, and everything and every system that crumbles, it is because of mismanagement on behalf of the administration, ministerial mismanagement, mismanagement of the funds. They are not allotted to where they're supposed to go. A lot of machinery within the hospitals go bad because they don't maintain these machines.
Yes.
One of them being the CAT scan. The CAT scan is very important. I had the privilege to work in neurosurgery, and in any case of neurosurgery, we're talking about the brain.
Yes.
Without a CAT scan, I prefer not to touch anyone.
Yes.
Because it's like going in blind.
Yep.
And then there were many times that the CAT scan was bad. So I need to make that call to the respective authorities, and please, start do what we need to do. The country is falling apart, not because of lack of resources, not because we can't afford it. It's just mismanagement.
Correct. And we have so much of our healthy, productive citizens, not getting their fair share of what they should when it comes to medical services in general.
That's another topic on its own that we can do. But
you wanted to speak with us in terms of the scene, no?
Yes,
the
correct.
investigation.
Well, just the system, how the system should be working, and I don't know if we'll have enough time for compare to what we have. But the investigation of a homicide, it entails the police investigators, the crime scene investigators, the forensic science, and the judiciary. All these components must be fully functional and must be readily available for each case. Each case requires a different set of disciplines depending on the circumstance and the situation. No? In general, tonight I will deal basically with the crime scene investigation.
Yes, because remember you're going to give some safety tips.
Correct. So maybe should I give the tips first and then deal
Probably,
with?
yeah, because
Okay.
I really want.
Because of time.
I really want. We're going to have to bring you back. However, I really want persons to get the safety tips. I know you want to speak on this aspect, and it is important, but I want to ensure we deal with the safety tips.
Well, when we talk about safety in general, safety is not just a responsibility for the policemen or these people that are supposed to serve and protect us. Safety entails every single citizen, and it is a responsibility of every person to ensure not just personal safety, but communal safety and safety of their neighbors, their children. Today in Belize, a lot of weaponry has found its way on the streets, combined with the mentality of the young people. It's a deadly combination. So for me, I go back to the family unit. The family needs to take control. And when I say control, I don't mean in a controlling manner like that, but they need to have more awareness of what the children are doing, where they're going. The children need also to listen to the parents because they know better. Let's get to the measures now, right? For me, I don't go anywhere alone. Traveling alone or going somewhere alone increases the probability of being more vulnerable to getting hurt, robbed, kidnapped, and at this point I will say, even for something bad to happen, in case you come in contact with the police or somebody, you always need to have someone with you. If you're going to a party, it's just a party with your friends, don't go alone. Don't do anything alone.
But even if you do something alone, because there will be some instances that will happen, inform someone where you're going.
Where you're going, when you're leaving. Like for example,
who you may be with.
I sent a text when I left home. When I arrived, I sent a text. When I leave, I'll send a text. When I'm driving, I'll send a text. Always have enough credit on your phone. If you encounter any situation, call someone that you trust. Leave the phone so that they hear what you're saying, and while you're trying to get your way out of that situation, give them the information, where you are, your address, what street you're on, and have the phone so that they can hear what is happening. Always have, most phones have GPS, that's a plus.
The passwords, because I believe that people ought to, it doesn't matter what, I mean, people will have little things they don't want others to know, but at least some loved one you ought to be able to trust that they have password to your, let's say, your FB account.
That's very important.
Your FB account, because you never know, some people are communicating with someone and they go somewhere, somebody, and they get
that's
disappear.
Very, very, very important.
Your password, your FB account, your computer, your phone, in certain gadgets can really help. But if people can't get into those, it may
and then
cause problems,
the way to get into it with bypassing that password wipes it. So you won't get any information from it. That's a very good point. You know, that's very important. You know, as well as like I said, just keep everybody informed of where you're going. Also, you have to monitor friends. Right now, friends is very important, because a lot of these young people are into drug sales, into usage of drugs, and this, like I said before, bypasses that barrier whereby you say, oh, that's my friend. And I must say, sadly, even family, blood family, will override that. So you have to be very keen as well. You have to try to engage in activities that are productive. Like, for example, sports. I always direct the youth into sports. You know,
sports and the arts as well.
And the arts as well. And you know, try to have a business mind. Keep your mind occupied.
Religious.
You know, organizations, and try to do voluntary work. Keep busy. Just, you know, keep busy.
Girl Guides Association.
It is a little bit more.
Boy Scouts.
It's a bit. I don't know how to say it, but it's a little bit more worrying when it comes to females as well, because most times you might have an innocent mind.
Yes.
And you might say, oh, I just go in a lead party, take one lead drink, but you don't know the mind that other people have towards you.
That's right.
You know, so you have to be very careful of the people that you surround yourself with.
And accepting drinks.
Correct.
From people.
You know, that's you know, always try to get sealed drinks. You know, if you have a drink that is already open, don't go to the restroom and then leave it there and then come back to it. You know, just different measures, and you got to be meticulous.
When you go to the bathroom, you know, go with someone. Go with someone. Go with someone you trust. That person, you go in there, somebody will be out there. You know, because things have happened in bathrooms.
Then a time frame could also help. Like, if you're somewhere going to the restroom, you know, you tell a friend, look, if I don't come back out in 10 minutes, you know, please check for me, you know. So,
or if someone goes out, I don't encourage smoking. I see them as cancer sticks. But if someone goes out to take a smoke, I mean, someone should know that they will go out there.
And when traveling, make sure that your vehicle is up to par, so that when you're traveling, you don't stay on the road, because then you become an easy target on the road. You know, they can disappear your vehicle and you disappear, and you know that's another tip. Now, when you're going, let's say if you're going places, if you're going somewhere, make sure that you take a public route, not the back street, or take a route that is not populated. You know, these kinds of things do help. But basically, it's the responsibility of the entire nation, and we need to change the mentality that we have.
And I think that we do have certain, like, for example, there's Crime Stoppers, that some people, because they they might feel wary about calling 911 or 90, and so, you know, there is Crime Stoppers International that they can call, but at the end of the day, we need the support of the people of Belize, but is the police department getting that support? And if they're not, why?
You see, that's the problem. The problem is that people at this point don't trust the police.
Yeah.
But why? That's the good question. Why? Because they have made a name for themselves. Another thing that would help greatly is the participation of the public. Because if someone knows that there's, let's say, some back alley, and when girls are passing, you could just pick up one girl and kidnap her, and nobody in the neighborhood will say nothing. It will become a pickup point.
Yes.
But if anytime you try to pick up a girl in that alley, the neighbors come out with a machete, with whatever they could.
Like what you see in the villages.
And do something about it. Then the others that have that mentality to want to go and kidnap someone there will think twice about it.
Yes.
So we have to set precedents, and we have to let these people with these criminal minds know that you know and get away with it. But everybody knows, even on the international stage, that Belize is a honeycomb to commit a crime. Because our system is lacking,
Yes,
the police is corrupt, the government is corrupt. So that's why they come here. This is like heaven. And that's an additional influence into what can happen to our people.
All right, so we also know, I had brought this up, the fact that in the Jamal Hume's case, of which you had the press conference today, that I heard you was the mother appealing for the tape. Or
for the records, for the phone records, correct.
For the phone records.
Correct.
Has that been received?
No, that hasn't been received. And this is a hindrance in every case that is investigated. But what happens is that if one person is able to get that record, it will set a precedent that everyone in that situation will need to have that equal access. And then again, when the higher ups are in question, it will be available. So this is why another blockage.
But not that needs to be retrieved. I heard her passionate plea.
Correct.
You know, that
Because
shouldn't even be a plea. That should have gotten
this is
done.
supposed to be a part of the system. There should be policies in such a manner that people's privacy is kept. But when you are now with scientific facts incriminated for a homicide, we must have access to that, because many times, and this is done internationally, and this is the key point internationally that solves and breaks many cases. Because when you are in communication with that person, even if it's the last minutes or seconds of your life, or when someone is going to bring you out of your home to lure you to your death, they're going to use their cell phone devices, especially if they know that it is almost impossible to get to incriminate them. So, like I was saying before, we need to set a precedent and say, well, look, this is going to be done. So if you send somebody a text and you call them out and tell them, boy, let's go, it made a diabra, and after that, the person got missing, you're the last person known to have communicated with that person.
Exactly.
Other facts and other details as well are communicated. Like, for example, if a drug deal is going to go down or something goes
because
bad.
They use phone recording, they do phone tapping. They do it. They do it.
And I have some pictures I took of the vehicle that was on St. Thomas. No, it was on Princess Margaret Drive the other day. And they were at some house trying to tap in and listen. And yet we can't use this to the benefit of this nation to solve these crimes.
Okay, so I want you, we're wrapping up now, and then I'll give you thank yous. Can you just say your final words?
Sure. Belize, change will not come by a government. Change will not come by no entity. Change will come by individual small steps taken by every citizen. No matter how small, no matter how insignificant it may seem to you, when we all come together and play that role that we are supposed to play in our society, a change will come. It will not be overnight. Many sacrifices will be made, but it will come. So I ask, be the change you want to see in your nation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jose Espat. Thank you for being a guest, and you're a very informative one as well at it now. I want to thank our advertisers, our sponsors for this show. We have Geo Motors, Universal Hardware, Smart Belize, Moya Shepherd and Company Limited. I want to thank those here, our technical crew. We have Cliff Lewis, Christy Flowers, Ras Pita, Harlan Wagner. I also want to say my usual thank you to the viewers of the Zenaida Moya show. You have made the Zenaida Moya show continue, and that is why we want to ensure that when this show is not about I would say frivolous stuff. that's as an economist, I really feel, and really I've been an elected official, so I do know that we do hold responsibilities to this country and our citizenry. So I want to ensure that all our guests who come on the show are persons who bring substance
Correct.
to matters. And so that is why you're here, Doctor. And so we have a number of topics that I've been asked to ensure that we speak on. And so we will be having some very informative shows coming up as well. The show, unfortunately, was not streamed tonight, but it will be posted on the Zenaida Moya Show Facebook page. It will also be uploaded on the Zenaida Moya Show YouTube channel. It will also be repeated on Creme Television this Sunday at 12 noon. So immediately I must say that it will be uploaded, and you will get to see it on the Zenaida Moya Show Facebook page, and that's for all our international viewers, because we do have a lot of international viewers, and I do know they were waiting for the show. So you know, my apologies to on that end, but I think Creme said it's the internet. I don't know, I think it's BTL. For whatever reason, BTL is not dealing with the internet for Creme Television. At least that's what I heard. So really, I'm hoping that matter will be resolved. I want to thank, of course, my son and my daughter, Kelvin. And you know, big up to Kelvin. He's a star pupil. And big up to you, my son. You've been a star pupil for some time. I don't really post. I'm not one who posts all his accomplishments and when he gets those awards. However, big up to you, I want to say. And to my daughter, she celebrated her 3rd birthday on Saturday, January 13th. So you're 3 years old, my little daughter. I love you, I love you, I love you. Again, thank you very much. And we will be right here next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. So with that said, thank you, and may God bless you all. And I do hope that there is closure to all the missing person cases that we currently have in Belize and really throughout the world. Take care until next week. God bless you.